Today we got a bit of a different game than I normally play. It's a genre that I don't normally specialize or play in at all because I'm really bad, horribly bad at them. It's a fighting game, very popular. It's the latest iteration of this fighting game. Of course, we are talking Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. Originally released December 7th, 2018. So this game is coming up on its 6-year anniversary, which is kind of crazy, isn't it? My God, 6 whole years this game has been out. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't this the last entry in the Smash series? Didn't they say they wanted to just make one more final Smash game and then this was it? Are they going to keep adding fighters? I'm actually very curious. I don't really know a whole lot about fighting games in general or Smash. You know, I'll just break down my fighting game career. I've played through just about every single Mortal Kombat game, and I've also played through just about every single Smash Bros. Game, aside from like the 3DS version, maybe. I've never touched Tekken. I've never touched Street Fighter. I have played a few of the Soul Caliburs. The one on GameCube with Link way back in the day was the one I played. I think it was Soul Calibur 2, if I'm not mistaken. That was a pretty good game. But fighting games in general, I don't know if you could really compare like Smash Bros to Mortal Kombat and call them fighting games. I know they're kind of like a different style of fighting games with like items and whatnot. However, they're all fighting games to me, man, and they're fun to play with friends, right? They're like the perfect couch co-op game to play with friends. Competitively, like online though, I am so unbelievably terrible. I just don't have the patience to learn all the combos and string them together and do all that fancy shit. It's just fun to smack your buddies around IRL with fighting games, and that is like the most of my playtime on them. So this is really going to be a very casual-minded take on Smash Bros. In general and fighting games in general. So if you're looking for a hardcore Smash talk, it probably isn't for you. I'm just talking about my experience with the game. I just got done playing through the Spirit World or Spirit Adventure or whatever it's called. My God, it took forever to get through too. I was not expecting it to be that long, but we're going to cover all of that. We're going to cover all the game has to offer right here. So yeah, man, Smash Ultimate, fucking perfect. It is honestly like the perfect couch co-op, like fun gaming experience. You know, I still play this game with like my nieces and nephews from time to time when I visit. I still play this game with some of my friends when they come over and stuff like that. That's actually the reason that I wanted to play this game, is to unlock all the fighters, to have some buddies over and play Smash. Eventually that's going to happen. So yeah, I have all the characters now. I actually did buy all the DLC characters, which I've got to get into, man. Don't let me forget. I got to knock this game for how fucking expensive all the DLC fighters are, dude. It's actually just kind of unfair. You know, let me just talk about it now. Okay, so the game, I bought the game on like Mercari or eBay. I can't remember. I bought a used copy for like $40 because that was the cheapest I can get it. I was not about to spend no $60 like Nintendo always wants you to do on their first party games because they never ever drop in price, right? So I bought a used copy for $40 and I'm okay, whatever, fine, great. I'll get some replayability out of this, right? So then the DLC characters, right? There's not one mega pack you can buy. You have to buy 2 separate packs, right? But no, you can't just buy the 2 separate packs, right? You have to buy, well, if you want the Piranha Plant, which I do, he's arguably the best DLC character. So that alone is $5. He's not in a pack. You have to buy him for $5. And then you have to buy the first fighter pack, which is like $25. It comes with like 5 or 6 characters. And then there's a fucking second volume you have to buy for $30. That's a bunch of more characters, which is kind of insane because it's a $50 total for all of that. That's the price of the game. How are you going to charge $50 for a whole DLC for like all of the extra fighters when that's the price of like the game? I don't get it, man. That's highway robbery. But they can do it because they're Nintendo and they can get away with it, you know what I mean? No other company would. It's funny, right? Because if that was literally any other company, Sony, Microsoft, you would have people in tears on Twitter talking about that all the time. But because it's Nintendo, nobody really cares. It's just Nintendo. They're going to overprice their shit like they always do. It's just stupid, man. Like, I paid $40 to play this game. I effectively paid $90 to have all the fighters, but it's just like, that's just fucking insane. I wouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have done it, honestly, because I don't even like that many of the fighters. I don't really like that many of the DLC fighters anyway, besides like Minecraft Steve and like the Piranha Plant and Banjo-Kazooie. Those are the only 3 I know. The rest of them are like Fire Emblem characters and characters I just don't know from like other series. But whatever, that's my fault. I swiped the credit card. I can't complain. It's whatever. So as far as spending money goes on this game, I mean, yeah, it's a pretty hefty price tag to get everything. I mean, $40 isn't bad. It's still probably 60 retail though. The thing about games like these in Smash Ultimate though is that it has infinite replayability, right? So you're able to play online if you want to. I've never tried online. I hear the service is just really bad though. It's really laggy from what I hear. I've never tried it for myself, but I mean, it's got online replayability. It's got couch co-op replayability. It's got replayability if you want to go in and fight yourself, if you want to do that. And by fighting yourself, I just mean fighting the computers. I guess I just meant playing the game by yourself. And if that isn't enough, there's a whole Spirit Adventure mode, which I spent a lot of time in. I actually cleared all the battles in. I'll get to that in a second. It even has all the traditional stuff from the older games, like the home run contest where you hit the sandbag and try to hit it the farthest to set a record. It has the classic mode from like the older games where you pick a fighter and then you play through like a route and a different series of different fights with certain conditions and whatnot. So let me explain what I spent my time on this game doing. I was trying to just unlock all the fighters, you know, for when all the boys came over and we could just play Smash. Everybody could choose whoever they wanted, you know, have access to all fighters. I was trying to figure out how to do that, and I Googled how to unlock all the fighters the fastest. And what they wanted me to do was go in, set it to one stock, and then just jump off the map, get a new fight, close the game out, do that, and just rinse, repeat. And it was working good for a while, right? I got maybe about 30 or 40 of the new fighters just by doing that method. And then it eventually stopped working, so I just figured I would play through the Spirit mode and just unlock them that way, the old-fashioned way, because I heard you could just get them all by playing through that. So that's what I did, man. I opened up the Spirit Adventure mode and just started chugging away at it every night. I'd play for maybe like a half hour to an hour, sometimes even up to 2 hours when I got home before I would hop on Overwatch every day. This became my new treadmill game, although I'm not going to lie, guys, trying to play a fighting game while on the treadmill, trying to work out at the same time, it's not a formula for success, man. It was pretty hard, but I managed to get it done. It was a challenge within a challenge that I kind of had fun doing, I can't lie. I'm just going to briefly talk about my playthrough of the Spirit Adventure campaign mode. I thought it was pretty fun for the most part. You know, when I started it off and I really did not care for it. I really thought it was stupid. But then the more and more I got into it and started understanding how it works, how the spirits work against each other, how you kind of got to build like a small little party to bring into certain fights, I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. And I wasn't going to go, I planned on going in and just going through and just trying to do the bare minimum, finish it all, unlock all the fighters, and then get out. However, I ended up liking it so much that I cleared every single fight in the game, man. All 615 of them. It took me just over 24 hours, you know, a little more than a day of gaming on Smash Bros. And I knocked it out in about just under 2 weeks, or just over 2 weeks rather. A couple hours each night, you know, and I had a blast doing it. It was a lot of fun. I actually have the screenshot I'm going to throw up on screen now, so you guys know I'm not fucking playing around. I'm not capping, all right, dude? Wow, that's actually like the first edit thing I've ever thrown into a video here is a screenshot. I actually do want to get more into that stuff. I want to do more of that, I think, and I think it could be fun. Maybe throw some sound bites or some clips in some podcasts eventually, but it's kind of off the fly shit. But I don't know. I kind of just like talking about the game, throwing it up, and having it be its own thing. But eventually we'll get into more of that soundbite territory once I'm more comfortable with these episodes, you know? Once I'm more comfortable with the product. And also, yes, I did play this on normal. I'm not ashamed of it. I know I already said I'm not good at fighting games. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm the best Smash player ever because I'm really not. I'm very, very bad at this. So even a couple of the fights on normal gave me a run for my money. I actually shouldn't even say a couple. There was actually a lot of them. Mostly because I couldn't figure out the spirit shit for the longest time. I genuinely did not understand that the 3 types are like, you have to counter them. I'm going to do my best to explain how it works right now, so bear with me here. It took me a while to figure it out, but I finally realized that they all counter each other. So the spirits that are red are attack spirits, the blue ones are shield spirits, and the green ones are grab spirits. And they all kind of counter each other in this rock, paper, scissors format. What really helped me understand is when I realized, oh, it's literally just Pokemon types, you know? Red counters green, green counters blue, blue counters red, and then there's one more and it's neutral. It's like a purplish one. I guess there's no advantage or disadvantage. Those are the 4 types of main spirits, and then there's like these smaller secondary spirits that serve more like perks, I guess I would compare them as. Like, Some of them you put on to avoid fog in the level. Some of them you put on to avoid heavy winds in the level. There's ones that increase like your neutral jab. There's ones that increase your special like Smash Bros move. There's ones that increase your shield size. I mean, there's just like a whole variety of different spirits that can just enhance your gameplay. Sometimes you just had to put on the necessary ones, like especially when there was strong wind in some matches, like you just couldn't play around it, so you'd have to use it. When I first started out the Spirit Adventure mode, this concept kind of took me a while to grasp. I don't know why. I guess I just wasn't expecting something like this to be in a Smash Bros campaign. But then when I figured it out, it just made a lot of sense. But what I love most about the spirits in this game, the primaries and the secondaries, is that just like Smash in its entirety, you know, Smash was a game that was made from love by Nintendo as just a celebration of all of their IPs coming together in this really cool and fun, unique fighting game, right? That's what it always was to me. Smash was always about celebrating just all of Nintendo's games, right? And what I love about this iteration of Smash, and some of the earlier ones, but this one truly, it's an amalgamation of literally just all games, you know? It's a celebration of all games, you know? You've got all sorts of memorable characters in this game. Everybody knows that the main roster is obviously stacked with a bunch of characters from outside games too. Like we have Snake, we got Shulk, Ryu, Ken, Cloud, Bayonetta, the guys from Castlevania. And then there's like a Tekken guy as one of the DLC fighters, and that's great and all, but where they're really able to shine with all of these characters is in this Spirit Adventure mode, because you come across all of these fights. There's over 600 fights celebrating just different characters in game, and I think that's super, super cool. You know what? Chalk what I said about outside Nintendo games. It really is mostly only Nintendo games now that I go back and look at it. I don't know why I thought that there was more to it. It's mostly just all of the stuff that's already featured in the franchise itself, you know, like all the Castlevania guys, Street Fighter stuff, that kind of thing. But anyways, let me just describe what the Spirit Adventure is. I'm not going to spend too much on it because it's really not all that much. It's just really long. So basically you spawn in as Kirby. Kirby is the only fighter that you can select as of right now. As you progress, you unlock more fighters and you can swap onto them. So you spawn onto the giant overworld map, and then there's these little spots with like glowing orbs on them that indicate that there's a fight there. You walk onto the orb, you accept the fight, and then it brings you to a menu that lets you switch around your spirits to get it all set up how you want it. There's also an auto pick feature that I used for basically the whole first portion of the game. Once you step onto a new spot to fight somebody, it shows you the conditions of the fight, like what's going to be different, if it's going to be a giant fighter, if it's going to be a metal fighter, if it's going to be a fire stage, a shock stage, anything along those lines, it'll let you know so you can set up your runes accordingly. I don't know why I called them runes like from Doom, but like your perks or whatever it's called, spirits. Every single one in the game is a one-stock fight, meaning you have one life, and you just have to kill the enemy if there's one of them, or kill up to like 10 enemies if there's that many of them. Sometimes you only have to kill the main one. Sometimes you have to kill them all. It'll just let you know in the description, which is very nice. Then the only thing besides that, the only different spots are there's fighter spots where you can actually unlock new fighters. It's a bigger symbol. It's easily recognizable. You just go up to it, fight the fighter, and then you unlock the fighter to use. So basically what I did is just to kind of get a feel for who I wanted to play and who I wanted to main, I would switch on to every new fighter I unlocked after the fight to kind of get a feel for them, kind of see if I fucked with it or not, see if I liked their kit or not. And there was a handful of them I did like and a handful of them I didn't like. And then once I found who I really, really liked, I stuck with it for the rest of the game. So typically in Smash Bros, I made my boy Link and Young Link. I just love them so much. I love Zelda so much. Honestly, from like Melee and day one, I've always played Link. So that's just my go-to guy, man. But as soon as I unlocked Bowser in this game and tried Bowser out, man, I could not go back. Bowser, he's basic, but he hits hard, and he has a pretty good moveset, man, and a good recovery. I felt like, I don't know if he's good like competitively or not, but he was working out for me. I really, really like his moveset. Oh my god, I almost forgot to mention the perma perk, like skill tree. So after every fight, you get these spirit points, and you can level not only your primary spirits to make them stronger, but you have a whole skill tree of skills you can just unlock. And it's anything from like more shielding to bigger jab hits to bigger smash moves. It's kind of like the perks, like the secondary spirit perks, except for like they're unlocked permanently and you don't have to waste a slot on them. So they're very, very, very good. Once you get later in the game and fight everything as I did, they really start paying off because your character starts getting OP. Like I swear, I would do the right A move on Bowser, like where you hold him. I think it's called the smash move, right? And it would do so much damage. Like it would do like almost anywhere from like 40 to 60 damage on the first hit. So I was getting into a rhythm where I would like hit him and then combo him in like 3 hits and knock people off. It was actually insane. So Bowser is my new dude. I actually really like Bowser. And I actually really liked Peach a lot when I used her too. I didn't expect to like Peach that much, but her B press, when she brings out Toad and counters something, it's actually very underrated. I didn't realize how good that was. But yeah, once I unlocked Bowser, used him a little bit, I fell in love with the guy. He's so good for my playstyle. I'm not normally into heavy characters in fighting games too, because they're typically slower. I typically like the faster movement, but Bowser was the exception to the rule, man. I really fucked with Bowser. The only really other thing in the spirit mode there is across the map, as you keep opening stuff up, there's dungeons you can go in to fight bosses. And then there's also like dojos you can put your cards in to level them up or give them different stats and stuff like that. And then really only besides that, there's a couple boss fights, a couple reused boss fights actually. Like I feel like I've fought Galeem and Darkon each, like probably 5 times each, I swear to God. I don't know why, but it feels like a lot of the bosses are reused. And then there's like a huge boss rush fight at the end where you got to go through them all again. Didn't really care for these. I thought they were kind of corny. Thought they were kind of cheesy. They're just a giant health bar that you got to shred through. It's really not that interesting. But the one cool thing is you actually do finally get to play as Master Hand towards the end of the game. And I thought that was really cool. It honestly gave me flashbacks to like my childhood and playing Melee on the GameCube. Because I swear to God, most of my friends said that you could play as Master Hand, or you read online that you could like play as Master Hand secretly. If you do all this extra stuff, you could play as Master Hand, but you never could, man. It was just a hoax. It was just a big goof. So when you could finally play as him in Ultimate, I was like, oh my God, this is like a part of my childhood getting realized and coming to life. It was actually kind of freaky. I also just want to mention, like, I thought the first part of the map was the only part of the map. I didn't realize there's a whole dark realm you go into. And then there's 3 more, like, dungeons, long-ass dungeons in the very last part of the game you have to go through. And then there's one last part where you have to go through all the way too. So there was, like, 5 different times I thought I was done with this game, and then it just kept chugging along, which I really don't like when games do that. I know that's partially on me for not recognizing that was happening. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm done. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. Okay, I'm done. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. You know, and it's just, I don't know. I hate the way that made me feel. Maybe it's just a me problem, though. That's basically it as far as the Spirit Adventure mode goes. There was also a couple things where you could use certain Spirit cards to unlock paths of travel. Like there was these repair guys that repaired bridges. You had to use Lapras to cross this ocean part, which was pretty cool. You had to use Bomb Man from Mega Man to break open these rocks to free up pathways too, which is pretty cool. I don't know. Overall, solid mode. I spent 24 hours playing it, and I went into it thinking I was just going to breeze through it and ended up playing every single fight in the game. So take that for what you will. Let's talk about who should be in the game, or who needs to be in the game, or who got done dirty by the game. So if for some reason you don't know, you can play as Mii's in Smash Bros. Mii is your custom Nintendo character. They have the Mii Brawler, the Mii Sword Fighter, and the Mii Gunner. And what they did is they made DLC costumes for like pretty cheap, you know, they're under $1 that you could just throw on certain Mii's to turn them into other characters from other games, you know? And it's fine, you know, it's all great and fine. However, I feel like there's just some characters that got done dirty because they should have been a roster slot. Like the Doomslayer. Dude, the Doomslayer is such an important part of gaming. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I know you cannot be the biggest Doom fan or whatever. I don't care. I am. I love the Doom games. But honestly, guys, like the first Doom is what kind of invented FPS gaming. It was literally the first person shooter. So I feel like it just needed to pay homage. They needed to fucking give the Doomslayer a spot on the roster to pay homage to that, you know? Because there wouldn't be a lot of great games we have today without Doom, the first one, man. And it just sucks. Same with Bomberman. Bomberman is another me costume that you can throw on. However, Bomberman is so iconic. I know he's not like the most popular mainstream character. In fact, I feel like he's pretty underrated and definitely overshadowed by others. But Bomberman definitely deserved a spot on the roster. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he got done super dirty, man. And can we just talk about the fact that there's no mention of any Mortal Kombat in Smash Bros? Like, guys, I always thought the big three were Street Fighter, Tekken, and Mortal Kombat, right? Those are the big three. And the fact that there's not Mortal Kombat, there's not like a Liu Kang or a Scorpion or a Sub-Zero or anything in Smash Bros, like not even a Mii costume at all. It definitely shouldn't be a Mii costume, but they should have Liu Kang or Scorpion or Sub-Zero as a main fighter. I feel like it's pretty messed up that they didn't include any Mortal Kombat. Although I get it, you know, for the same reason as Doom Eternal, the games are ultra violent, fatalities in Mortal Kombat, ripping demons in half in Doom. So I really get it. It's a kid's game, right? They are marketing it to like pretty much children, and I get that. So they probably don't want to show any characters from like very violent series. However, who cares, you know? I just felt like there should have been some MK representation in this game. It's a shame that there's not. I know this is going to be controversial, but I really feel like another franchise that deserves to be in Smash is a character from Overwatch, man. It honestly doesn't seem too unrealistic too, because Overwatch got ported to Switch like a long time ago, and if it wasn't for all of the allegations that Blizzard was going under, I feel like they could have done something well. But you know, the launch of Overwatch on the Switch was unfortunately met with all the allegations and all the shit Blizzard was under fire for all those years ago, so they probably wanted nothing to do with them at the time. So I completely understand. I just feel like it'd be really cool to see Tracer or Doomfist in Smash, especially because Doomfist was literally inspired by fighting games as a character. He has the slam, he had the uppercut before he got reworked into a tank. Like, literally the perfect contender for a fighting game, man. It should have happened. And then a few other characters I would have liked to seen, or some more Zelda representation. I would have liked to seen like maybe Darunia from Ocarina of Time, the Goron. I would have liked to seen Midna from Twilight Princess, maybe in her small form with Wolf Link, or maybe in her bigger like human-esque form. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me. I haven't played that game in so long. I would have liked to seen like Skull Kid maybe from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, even though he's not really a big character. Some more Animal Crossing representation would have been cool. Like, I would have loved to play as like KK Slider or maybe Tom Nook and his kids or something. Could have been very cool. Might have been cool to see some more Donkey Kong representation. Tiny Kong from DK64 comes to mind, along with Chunky Kong. I mean, my boy Waluigi should have been a full roster character. He's just an assist trophy. They did him dirty. I don't know, maybe even like Shadow the Hedgehog, Knuckles, Tails, even Dr. Eggman from Sonic could have been pretty sweet. And then my last suggestion is just the Master Chief himself from Halo, man. Halo was arguably like the most iconic, probably is the most iconic shooter of all time. I feel like the Chief deserves a roster spot, especially because Halo is not a terribly violent game. So I feel like he would fit right at home inside Smash, especially because he was in, I don't know if it was the Chief, but one of the Dead or Alive games had a Spartan in it, if I'm not mistaken. I'm almost positive. So the whole Spartan thing in a fighting game could absolutely work. I 100% believe that. Leave a comment down below and let me know who you'd like to see get added into Smash. I'd love to discuss it. Let's move on to Retard of the Week segment. It's back. It's here. We're doing it. Since you can't leave a review about Nintendo games on the app or online itself, we're off to Google. I just typed in Smash Ultimate Reviews and then it came up with a bunch of user Google reviews. So we got one here from Colin. Colin says, 10 months ago, so much fun. I love how you can play as all these unique characters. I have been playing all of the Smash games since Brawl and I've always enjoyed them. I play it with my friends and also sometimes online with strangers. It is the best Smash game created and probably one of the best games I have ever played. 10 out of 10. Now you're thinking, I know you're probably thinking, how is that retard? How is he retard of the week? What are you talking about? The fact he gave it a 1 star. So that's why I thought it was really funny. I was looking through the 1-star reviews and I was like, okay, everybody's just complaining about how the input lag is online and just crying about online in general. So I was like, I'm not going to really highlight those. And then I scrolled past Colin's comment. And it just made me laugh because he gave it 1 star, but says it's a 10 out of 10. So, Colin, I'm sorry. You done screwed up, buddy. You done screwed the pooch. You effed up. You're retard of the week this week, but wear it with pride, okay? Wear it with pride. What a really wholesome comment, man. Thank you, Colin, for making my day. As far as talk about Smash Bros. Ultimate, guys, I'm pretty sure that's all I can do, man. I talked about the Spirit Adventure mode, which is what I played the most, mentioned a couple fighters I'd like to see in the game, and talked about a little bit of the nostalgia from back in the day. As far as other Smash games, guys, I probably won't cover any other Smash games on the podcast, just because, you know, what can I say about those that I haven't already said about this one? You know, this one has all of the characters. It's truly the best version of Smash. I know some of the hardcore nerds will probably disagree with that because certain movesets got tweaked in some stuff and it plays different and it's not Melee, right? I know a lot of the hardcore Smash community still loves Melee to this day, which is fine. But yeah, I just don't really think I can do justice to any of those games. Maybe if I get my hands on a copy of Melee and play it one time, I don't know. I'll never say never. It could happen, maybe. It could happen. We'll see, though. Probably not, but could happen. Let me just mention what I've been playing lately, and then I'll make like a faggot and get out of here, okay? Still playing a lot of Overwatch. Not going to get into it too much. Love the game. Love the game. Super fun, super engaging. So grinding Overwatch still, trying to go for those Jade weapons. I've been playing Deadlock here and there. Not a whole bunch. I kind of don't really have an incentive to grind this game out because, you know, it's only an alpha, so there's not really a whole release. There's not like a rank to grind towards or anything. So I've been dabbling in it every now and then, but it's still very, very fun. Still very much love that game. I did try the new Black Ops 6 multiplayer beta last weekend. It's, you know, the new Omni movement is pretty fun. It's pretty unique. However, it's, you know, it's still just Call of Duty multiplayer. So it's, you know, it's the same thing it's been for 20 years. So it's not all that interesting to me. And that's about it, really, man. I have not played much single player stuff recently. Just been sticking to more multiplayer for now. I have no idea, genuinely, actually no idea what next week's episode is going to be. I'm going to try to play through something on my backlog, maybe that's quick. I was thinking about maybe doing another Switch game. I got a couple I've been meaning to play for the longest time, but just haven't gotten around to it. I got a bunch of stuff in my Steam library I could play that I was just been waiting for me, you know. I really don't want to just name drop a game and then not end up playing it, you know. So we'll see what happens next week. That's part of the mystery of the podcast, right? That's part of the mystery that we all love, right? So we'll see what happens next week. Anyways, that's it, guys. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate everybody that's listening to this, although I don't know who is or who isn't. I don't care if even one person listens to this. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. I also can't wait for my delusional, old, schizophrenic ass to be listening to this in the future. So, Jerry, 40 years into the future, or whenever you're listening, future Jerry, comment down below, man. Are you still a Link main? What's going on there? How has Smash Ultimate aged since then? Is there more fighters? Let me know, man. That's been the pod, guys. Jerry Yap signing out. Really appreciate it. Have a nice day. Have a nice week. Have a nice weekend. Peace. Goodbye.